We're looking splendid.
Sorry?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Adobe Live from Adobe Max London. I'm extremely excited to be here today. The event is amazing. Everyone is having so much fun. There are tons of people walking around enjoying all the latest updates of the Creative Cloud, and there's so much good talk going on. And I have the huge honor to speak with Jonas Debach today.
Yes.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm always good, as you
Yeah.
know.
Awesome.
How's Max been for you so far?
Oh, Max has been great. I've been meeting a lot of fellow illustrators and connecting to people and getting to know new people. So it's a really good time. And I also saw the keynote this morning. It was really interesting stuff. So I've been enjoying it really well.
That sounds amazing. Hello also to everyone who's joining us online. Hello to the chat. I see there are a couple of people already. Hi, it's good to have you around. Whenever I'm looking into this direction, my eyes are all on you, chat. So whenever you have questions for Jonas, let us know. I'm very happy to forward them to you.
Awesome. I'll gladly answer as well.
Jonas, what's on our list today?
Today I'm going to show you a pin I designed for Adobe Max London.
It's this one here. I'm not sure if you can see it well. Yes, I think we can. It looks great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I've put a lot of effort into the design and the concept behind it. I'm actually really proud of it, but I'll explain to you all the ins and outs. But yeah, I'm super happy with how it looks, and yeah, I find it fantastic. Yeah.
Perfect. Before we dive into that project, which you've done just for Adobe Max in London, let's have a look at your portfolio, because your work is amazing, and it has such a unique style and a unique touch.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. My portfolio, the kind of work I do is everything that involves cool illustrations, you know. I like to do illustrations for branding, but also merchandising, which is definitely applicable in this case. But I also paint murals and stuff. So everything that involves like cool illustration is the kind of thing I do. And maybe I can highlight a couple of things.
Yes, let's have a look.
Perhaps I can show you this project I did for Jordan. It's all like, because of the stream is focused on wearables, I think it's maybe cool to show this one. This is a project I've done for Jordan in China. I'm not sure, I can't pronounce the name of the store, but it's released in China just before COVID. And the whole idea was to like combine basketball and music and public transports, which are very famous are topics that the people over there are very interested in, let's say. So I combine like all these things into an illustration, and you can see like there's a guitar with a basketball in it, and here you can see like a basketball with a train track around it. So I like to combine that kind of like conceptual approach to my illustrations.
It's cool to see that you have so many thoughts behind your illustrations. So it's not just the first thing you would think of, but it's really detailed, and you're thinking about how to communicate the thoughts behind in the best way.
Yeah, that's definitely something I try to do with my illustration work. I always try to apply like a conceptual layer to it, so it's more than just a nice picture, you know, it has like meaning and stuff, so I find that really important. And I just noticed my website is not working very well, actually.
Well, it might be the internet here.
Oh yeah, that's
because
true.
Because there are so many people around, and everyone is trying to get the bits and pieces of the one Wi-Fi we have.
Yeah, and maybe another one I can show you is a personal project of mine. I've always wanted to experiment with like tattoo designs. It's something I'm really interested in and I'm really inspired by as well. So I figured like, whilst it's loading, I'll tell you about it. But I wanted to really try it out, but I wanted to give it like more of a application, you know, not just like a tattoo illustration on its own, but more like actually like what am I going to use it for? And I figured like maybe I can create a cool pattern out of it. But then like, what do I do with the pattern? And I thought like, okay, where can I bring something cool in? I was thinking like, okay, costume designs are usually very formal, you know? And I was thinking like, what if I create like this really cool fancy suit? And that's what I did. So I created like these illustrations, and then I applied it to like these mock-ups, and
very nice.
I really love this project.
I love that you went for the inside, so it's solid black on the outside, and then on the inside there's all of the fun going on.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think like black is always stylish, you know, we're both wearing black, you and I, but then having this kind of really like interesting pattern in the inside makes it really cool, you know.
It looks amazing.
Awesome. So should we dive into the pin design perhaps?
Yes, you've been showing projects for fabrics, for clothes to wear. And now this project was, you call it the wearable art piece, which is absolutely true. And before the stream, we were catching up already, and I asked you,
Yeah.
wearables, what does it mean, and how did you get into that? So can you maybe give us a little intro of what wearables are for you?
Well, wearables are, I think, everything that evolves into wearing your own art, whether it's like a T-shirt or a pin or something. I think that's what it means to me, you know?
Yeah.
If that's sufficient, of course.
No, anything is sufficient, of course.
I'm not sure. I'd love to remove these guides. I'm not sure how to do it because it's in French. But let's maybe. Oh, thank you very much.
Shortcut is the way to go.
Yeah, thank you. Perhaps I should tell a bit about it. So I was asked to create a pin for Max, and the first thing I always do is brainstorm on paper. I find it really important to write down notes and stuff. And the briefing for this one was to create something about community. So I thought like, okay, what's community? Well, community are people. What's Adobe? Adobe is design. And what's design? Design is tools, pencils, and then so on and so on. So I try to make like visual connections, you know? And then for me, it was a case of doing like, what does design and people look like together, you know, as a design? So that was the question I wanted to solve. So I started like thumbnailing really quick, and honestly, I never show this to anyone, but because like I find it really important to be transparent, and also with AI, everything looks really nice and perfect. I thought maybe I should show this. Like I never showed this to any client, but I thought like this is quite an essential part of the process, really thumbnailing.
But you should, it looks really cool.
Yeah, but for me, the quality is not there to present to the client. It's just for myself, checking in with ideas, creating as much as possible. So I looked at these and I was really interested with the ones I circled. Like, so I was thinking like community is people chatting to each other. So people chatting, looking at each other. And then when I drew that, I thought, oh, maybe a butterfly is nice as well. So it's nicely designed. And then, okay, what's Adobe? Design. So design is a pencil. And I felt maybe the pencil in the middle could become like the body of the butterfly. So that's sort of the conceptual approach I like to do. And after I was doodling, I was also thinking like, what reference makes sense in this kind of like community context? And I'm super inspired by vintage stuff as well. So I looked into these kind of 70s references, hippies, flower power. So I infused all that into my design. And then this is the rough sketch, and I made it into this. It's still like, all right, but it misses something, you know? So I presented this to these guys, and it was like a very good idea. And then what's next for me is sort of refining. And what I like to do in refining is look at references again. And I mentioned before, I'm really inspired by like traditional tattoos.
Yeah.
So I was looking at these butterflies from traditional tattoos and getting inspired by the shapes. And I sort of like tried two different options, one that's a bit safer and one with more curly tails. And I thought like this one was the better fitting one, the bottom one. So yeah.
It looks super cool. I love the combination. Now that I know the concept behind it, it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
you did a really great job.
Yeah, oh, thank you very much. So yeah, when I did like the redraw, and this is like the sort of rough sketch, I wanted to set it up nicely for Illustrator so I can like pencil it nicely and check in with the colors and the balance and stuff. And this, what you see is like, it's not really a finalized color palette, but it's just for me to like work with a couple of colors, you know?
Yeah.
So I can like see the balance and stuff. So what I did after this was go into Illustrator and vectorized all the lines. And what I usually do then is fill it in with the live paint tool, but I just noticed we're a bit short on time perhaps, so I just skip it for now perhaps.
That's good, yeah.
Okay. So I've already set it up here. As you can see, the lines are really like clean because I penciled them in Illustrator. I don't really work all my illustrations in Illustrator, but because I knew it was like a pin design, everything needs to be clean and crisp. So I figured like Illustrator is the best tool for the job, you know.
Does this mean you're switching between tools constantly?
Yeah. It depends on the application, of course. Like for instance, a pin design needs to be clean and sharp, but then for other applications, I'm happy to use Photoshop. It really depends on what the client wants and the briefing and such, you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah. And what I actually did for the color palette was use the new generative color option. So maybe I should like show it perhaps. This is in French. I'm not able to speak French. So I'm not sure what to do.
Okay, we can also skip that part, and you just tell me a bit more how you did the process. Just explain it a little bit.
Oh, okay. So I used the generative recolor one, and it's the one where you can like type in prompts to create color variations. And I was typing in like flower power, hippie, and it created like a couple of variations. And then in the end, I landed on this color. It wasn't exactly that, but I tweaked it to my liking. I personally really enjoy using like very bold and bright colors. So it was a bit duller than that, but because I like it so much, it just pumped up the contrast, you know. And I also really like using like contrasting complementary color. So it's very technical perhaps, but like you got like yellow, and if you look at the full color wheel, on the other end is purple, and then it creates like a nice contrast.
And with the recolor artwork, you really have a nice control over where you push the dots.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's exactly how it goes, you know.
Yeah.
And then for the card design, I looked back at my references because I needed to be reminded of what I was looking at, you know. And I saw these kind of like shapes here, like the rainbow shapes and the sun and stuff. And I thought maybe that's like a nice segue into doing the card, because I wanted to highlight the pin design really. So because of that, I made like the sun behind it, you know. So yeah, that's sort of my process, I think. And then I can maybe show you, maybe for the viewers at home, I got like a mock-up. So this is like the final product with the pin. As you see, I use a lot of references and stuff. And then for the final, I made like, I hired someone to create mock-ups. So if they can't see it from here, they can see it here.
Nice.
So yeah. That's a bit of like behind the scenes of what I did for the pin for Max.
Awesome. I really like the combination of 70s feeling plus the traditional tattoo artworks.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Oh,
I can totally picture that as a tattoo.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of things I'm influenced by, and I like to combine things from different areas, whether it's tattooing, whether it's like other vintage stuff. And I think that's sort of how I approach my projects. Get as much inspiration references from everywhere, and then combine them all into my own sort of artwork.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We actually have a hi in the chat from maybe here.
Oh, I can't read it. I can't read it. Oh, sorry, it's too far. I can't read it.
Hi back in the chat. It's good to see everyone there. If you have questions, let us know. Otherwise, I have a question for you. So you've been an illustrator for quite a while now.
Yeah.
How do you stay inspired, or what's exciting for you in the future as an illustrator? Because there are so many changes going on, and you know everyone is talking about AI-generated images.
Yeah.
But let's maybe start with your inspiration and your drive that you have on a daily basis that keeps you going.
Yeah. So I'm an illustrator, as you say, indeed. But I also do a lot of design work, where I actually do sometimes more graphic design. And I feel that sort of thing, like the combination of doing illustration and graphic design, it sort of keeps things fresh for me, you know? So I probably, if I would do illustration every day, it would be, I don't want to say become boring, but it would be sort of the same thing every day. And what I really like about being like a freelancer is to be able to do illustration one day, then design the other day. And because of that combo, I get influenced by both ends. And then that makes its way into each other, you know. But then on the topic of AI, it's also like a tricky one, I guess. I don't personally use AI, to be honest, because as I mentioned before, I really like the concept of like, concept is super important for me. And I sometimes, when I look at AI stuff, it looks really nice on the surface, but then I sometimes maybe see lacks a bit of concept depth in them. So that's what I really want to do with my work. And I'm a digital illustrator, and I learned like illustrating in a digital way. But right now, I really like to go back to pencil and paper, and as you saw, like try out different things, multiple things really quick to see how it looks. And the analog approach inspires me a lot as well.
I agree. And seeing your sketches before was really interesting because you also see the thought process behind.
Yeah.
That's cool. And for me, it's always a bit like meditation whenever I can sketch and work on my own artworks really from beginning to the end. And the process itself makes me think and inspires me again to do other projects.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. That process, I think process for me is one of the most important things. Like doing that on paper and not like on the computer, and that kind of stuff is really important for me. And I don't have one fixed process for every project. It changes every project, also because of the timeline, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the more diversity I can bring into the way I work, what I do, the more I get inspired by all the things that I do, you know?
I absolutely agree. I think it's a, how would you call it? It's a
full circle.
Full circle, yes.
Yeah.
Full circle explains it best.
And I also come from a web design and web development background, so I've got like all these sort of skills that I don't really advertise online, but I do like to use them for instance, in this case, where I need to I know the pin is the champion of this design, you know, so I wanted to highlight it with the beams and then create like a nice suiting text in the same style of what I'm going for, you know. So I know, I try to be conscious about all those things and then combine them into one project.
David Oku was here before, and he had his live stream going on. And what he did last year, he had stickers that you could scan with your phone, and then it turned into a tiny AR exhibition.
Okay.
I think that would be something really cool for the pin.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I can't animate myself, so I need someone to do it for me. But
we will figure out something.
Oh, that would
but
be
that
awesome.
Really cool.
That would be awesome.
So, you also brought this really nice book here.
Oh yeah.
Because whenever we meet, you have new merch for yourself.
Yeah.
And stuff to show your work, which is really exciting and beautiful. And I'm very impressed with your work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're so good in networking, actually, and connecting people. So I'm really happy to have this one here. I will take that home with me. I love the black and white one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I find it really important, like on events like this. I try to find unique ways of doing that kind of stuff, you know. And I always the idea for this book is when I get to know people, instead of me searching up them searching up my name on Instagram on their phone and then just giving it a quick follow and then that's it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I could print a little book of mine. All my work is in there, all my best work, let's say.
Yeah.
Give it to them, and then they bring it back to the office, and then they put it on the desk. And maybe one day, if the right project comes along, they can contact me. And that's sort of the way I like to do things. It's like an extended visit card.
Yeah, business card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how and I feel like as a freelancer, you always need to be on top of those things and always trying to meet new people. And to be honest, though, I'm not the best at it. I consider myself a little social awkward sometimes, and my girlfriend will definitely approve of this.
I cannot confirm so far. I cannot confirm.
But I try to do this kind of stuff to really get out there and get to know people, you know. So yeah.
So for everyone who is around here, make sure to grab your pin later on at the community booth here, because we have a couple of them left, but they're limited, so
yeah.
Be fast. Otherwise, have a look at Jonas' social profiles or catch him at the event or somewhere else to get this really lovely book.
Yeah.
Jonas, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah,
Thank
likewise.
you so much.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. My pleasure. It was awesome chatting about the process of the pin. I had a really good time doing this, so yeah, thanks to you guys.
Thank you. Great work.
Awesome.
And thanks everyone for watching. I see many more compliments here. You're doing a really great job.
Oh, thank you.
Please stick around. We have a couple more live streams coming. It's time for me to go for a drink now because I'm off for today.
Yeah, same.
And I will enjoy Adobe Max London even more than I did already. Thank you so much. Stick around and see you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.